Hey, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to actually talk about utility knives. The old box cutter utility knife. Which one I've bought 13 of them, and we'll see which one I think is value for money. Not necessarily the best one to meet your needs, but what I think is value for money.
Let's go and make something.
Because every person is different, and the value for money one probably won't have all the features you're after. Now, I'm not going to talk about these horrible plastic breakable, I hate those things. And we're not talking about the solid ones, we're talking all about the folding utility knife. So, I've bought all of these with my own money over the years, and in the last month maybe 10 of them. They range in price from $13 all the way up to $40, and I can't remember the prices off the top of my head except for one or two of them, but I will put it down the bottom or top or somewhere what the price is and where I got it from. There will be a link in the description too to an article. Here we have all the knives. They're in no particular order. There's various different brands. We've got a Craftright, Fuller, Irwin, Fiskars, Milwaukee, Powerbuilt, DeWalt, Stanley, AllTrade, Trojan, Kinchrome, Ox, and a Makita knife. As I said, we're not talking about these ones either. I'm not a big fan of those in my pocket. There are other brands out there. There's hundreds, possibly even thousands of different brands around the world. These are just the more common ones we have in New Zealand. I do also know that there is a even cheaper one than the cheapest one I've got. One that's worth $9–10. The cheapest one I bought was like $13. So there are cheaper ones. I'm going to try and remember all the different features on them. I'm sure I'm going to forget something. Now, most of these are all alloy steel construction. A couple of them have a rubber coating going over the top to so-called give it that comfy feel. The first one is the cheapest one I bought, which was $13. It's an all steel alloy construction, stainless steel blade head and alloy housing. You can't flick this one open like you can on a couple of them. It is what I like though, it is a button push to open it out, and it locks, and a button push to close. I do prefer that than some of the other locking mechanisms. To change the blade, it's very easy. Push the button, pull the blade out, and put the new one in. This one comes with a belt clip and a couple of holes, areas where you can put a lanyard through if you require a lanyard. I do like the way this one feels in the hand, just the shape of it. It actually feels comfy in the hand, and being as cheap as it was, I'm actually quite surprised. I do like that one, and that's from Craftright. Craftright is Bunnings in Australia and New Zealand. Next one we have is Fuller. Now Fuller are known for their cheaper tools, unless it's Fuller Pro. Fuller Pro is slightly better. This is just a straight out Fuller. This is an all steel and alloy construction, except for the housing cap there. This here is plastic, but that's not so bad. Again, it's got the nice button to push. This one you can flick open, flick close, if that's what you're wanting. This one has a wire stripper function. To change the blade, it's just like most of them. Push the button, pull the blade out, push the button, put it back in. It's very, very simple. It's going to be a very simple video. This one also has an area to put a lanyard on. You also get the belt clip, and as I said, you can store three, possibly four, maybe four, but definitely 3 blades in the handle. Now, as I said, Fuller are known for their cheaper tools. This one seems okay. I'm not going to say great, but okay. It doesn't feel as nice as the Craftright, as refined, to be fair. Moving down to the Irwin. Now the Irwin's got the, to open it you just pull it open, which is fine. I would probably prefer one that actually locks and you had to push a button somehow to open it. However, it's firm enough that it's not really going to open up on its own. Again, to change the blade, oh no, this one is slightly different, sorry. The Irwin, it has to be set to 45. If it's set to 90 and you push the button, you can't change the blade. Set it to 45. Now it doesn't lock in 45, I can still move it. It is just a position for changing the blade. Push the button and the blade slides out. So there's some magic going on the inside there, that the blade must be set to 45. Again, to close it you've got to move your hand, which I'm not a great fan of, to push the button at the back of the handle. You can see the bar lifts up to unlock it, and then she closes. It has a wire stripper and belt clip. This one's pretty slim. The only downside is this function here of closing. Now if I close it properly, which is taking the protection off. I've only got the protection on while I'm doing the video because I'm probably going to slice my hand. This is actually quite a slim knife and pretty short. You just look at the difference between the Craftright and the Irwin and even the Fuller. It's not a bad knife overall. It's all steel and alloy. Bringing us down to the Fiskars. Bringing us down to the Fiskars Pro. This one you can flick open. It didn't at first when I first got it, but it's now loosened up a little bit. It's supposedly got an ergonomic design of it on the handle. I personally am not a fan of it. I don't like it, the ergonomics of it. However, it is all steel, well, mostly steel housing with a little bits of plastic here and there thrown into it. That is alloy, I think. To change the blade on this one, you lift the slot, lift the button up here. Yeah, come on, there we go, like that, and the blade just comes out. Very simple design. And just push it back in. You can, if you're careful, flick it closed. I do like that it's got the button, so I'm not having to change position on my hand to close the knife. I'm just pushing the button. Comes with a belt clip. Now the belt clip is very, very tight. That would, yeah, I doubt that I'd be able to get that over my belt anyway. Not that I would rather have a one that fits in my pocket. What else is this going to say about this one? It's got a rubber coating over everything. Now I don't know how long that rubber coating will last once you've got maybe chemicals on your hands or you got grease and that. How long that's going to last. Has lanyard holes so you can tie a lanyard to it. As I said, it's got the belt clip. It doesn't have anything else other than the ergonomics, which I'm not a big fan of. So there we go. This is bringing us to an AllTrade one that I've had for you. Oh, this one doesn't flick open if I remember correctly. AllTrade one. This one's actually got a very, very fine bit of alloy in it, and it's mainly plastic. But to be fair, this one has lasted me years and years, and I've actually got two of them. They've both lasted years and years. I don't know how long I've had these knives. However, there is now a lot of movement in both of them in the head, which started me looking for another knife. Hello, dog. Hello, pup. Hello, puppy. Hey, hello. Hey, puppy. What's your new toy? Hey, hey, Mara. Hey, 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 yeah. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Hey, tuck, tuck, tuck. Yeah, yeah, boy. Oh, tuck, tuck, tuck. Yeah. Hey, hey, yeah, boy. Who's a good boy? Hey, oh, your new toy. Hey, your new toy. I'm surprised it's lasted 5 minutes, to be honest. Again, there's nothing special about this one, but they are still for sale. But as I said, this has lasted me for years and years. To change the blade, flick that button back and you'll see a wee locking mechanism lift, and you pull the blade out, push the new one in and lock it back down. It's as simple as that. But nothing special about it. So there's no onboard storage for blades, there's no belt clip, there's no lanyard hole. It's a little bit of metal, but mainly plastic. But to be fair, this has lasted years. Stanley. There's a nice slim small one like the Irwin. It's all steel and alloy, which I like. There is no button to push to open it, or you just open it out. However, it's got the old school locking bar at the base of the knife to close it, and I'm not a big fan of those on these knives. I don't mind them on pocket knives, but I'm not a big fan of them on a utility knife. To change the blade, it's just as simple as, again, pushing this button down, and you'll see the locking bar lift, and you pull the blade out, put the new one in, and lock it in. This one does have a belt clip. Close it up. It has the belt clip, and really you could get away with putting a small lanyard on it, but the chances are that the blade will cut it eventually. So realistically, it's got no lanyard hole. I don't like that it doesn't lock in position. However, that being said, it is a stiff open. It's not as if it's a loose one that you can flick that doesn't lock. So yeah. However, it would do the job. It's actually not a bad knife. I do like that it's nice and light. It's nice and slimline. It would fit nicely in my pocket anyway. I would never use the lanyard holes on any of these anyway myself, personally. This brings us to the DeWalt. DeWalt. What have you done? This just feels cheap and chunky. Personally, I'm going to probably throw it out after I've done this video. It just feels cheap and chunky. It is all steel and alloy, except for the compartment lid and maybe the lanyard holder, where it's plastic. You can store 3 blades in the handle. It actually feels cheaper than the fuller one, especially for the amount you pay for it. It doesn't flick open. There's no any extra function on it, on the blade. To change the blade, it's like them all. Push the button, put the new blade in. It's got the old school locking bar, which again, I'm not a big fan of them on these kind of knives. It's got the belt clip. It just feels cheap. It feels nasty cheap. Not cheap, but nasty cheap. I don't know what it is. I don't like it. I'm disappointed. Alright, Powerbuilt. Brings us to the Powerbuilt one. Powerbuilt comes in a Kajura style pouch. This is probably the bulkiest of the knives we've got, but it is all steel. You can push the button, flick it open, and flick it closed, if you're careful. Not only does it come with the carry case, it has a belt clip. Now the reason it's bulky, it has an extra blade on it, so it's also a standard knife, pocket knife, or a utility knife. The Trojan, again, is all steel and alloy housing and blade holder. The blade, change the blade is again like all the rest of them. Push the button again, put it back in. Again, this is also a no frills one. It comes with a belt clip, but there's no extra wire strip or anything on it. No lanyard hole or anything. However, there is absolutely no movement on it. Now the reason this one is up there on my list, because it came with a multi-tool as a set, and I'm only reviewing the utility knife at this stage, but it did come with a functioning multi-tool with all the bits and pieces. So that's not a bad option either, and I believe it was to get these was cheaper than the DeWalt together combined. Kinchrome, again, Kinchrome comes in with a pouch. It's got a nice rubber stitched on logo there. What can we say about the Kinchrome? The Kinchrome, it's all alloy and steel, stainless steel. There's nothing special about it. It locks in place. To unlock it, you've got to push the button down the back there. It's got the old-fashioned locking bar, but it's a definite snap. It's better than the ones underneath, but it means I've got to move my hand to unlock it. It doesn't lock in position. However, I can't see that one actually opening ever. To change the blade on this one, it's a little bit different. You got to lift the tab at the top there and then pull that out, and the blade just pops out, and then do it all in reverse to lock it back in. That's nice and slim, it's nice and small. Comes with a belt clip as well as a carry case. It's pretty light, so that's not actually a bad knife either. Ox is the next one. I've been using this one at work for quite some time. I actually pinched this one off my other half, so sorry, you can have it back after all this. It's all alloy construction. You push the button there to open it out. It's all alloy except for the lid here, which is where you have a blade storage, and you can get 2 or 3 blades into there. The lid there is actually plastic. This one does come with the wire stripper as well as a belt clip. As I said, I've been using this one at work for quite some time. See the logo there starting to slowly wear off. Hello puppy. It's not a bad knife, but it's a little bit bulkier than, say, the Stanley or even the Irwin Kinchrome. It's bulkier but sturdy. It's like all of them, well made, except for that one. Makita is again a no frills knife. You can't flick it open, but you push the button and it locks into place, and it locks when it's closed, which I like, to push the button to open it. I do like that. I don't know why I prefer that over one that you can just pull open. There's no chance of it opening in my pocket and stabbing myself. This is all steel and alloy construction. There's no frills on the knife like all the rest of them. These just push the button to change the blade, push it back in. There's no extra bits and pieces to worry about. You don't have to, there's no wire stripper. However, this does have a rubber coating like the Fiskars one, and I don't know how long that would last. Again, with having any chemicals on that on your hands, and grease and bits and pieces, I'm sure it will be fine, but over time I don't know how long it will last. Comes with a belt clip, but other than that it's just a pretty standard utility knife. It does actually feel quite nice. This brings us to Milwaukee Fastback. The whole idea of the Milwaukee Fastback is you can flick it out and flick it closed. It's nice in the hand with the where you put your finger. However, as long as you have your finger there, you're not going to be able to cut yourself, but it's closing the knife when you flick it. Opening it's fine, just be careful when you're closing these ones by flicking it. This one, again, you push the button to change the blade and push it back in. This is wire stripper. It's ergonomic for your finger there. When it's closed, it has another, what they call a gutter, a wire gutter, or rope gut. I don't know why that means. Has a belt clip, which is, I doubt my belt would actually get into that. It's very, very tight. And a hole for a lanyard if you wanted one. I do like that it's fast opening. When the blade's open, you do have a spot to put, there's 1, 2, maybe 4 or 5 blades, spare blades. That holder is actually plastic, and I believe there's a wee magnet in there to hold it or something, hold the blades. And it just snaps in. The only one here I don't like is the DeWalt. It feels clunky, cheaply made. I don't like that. Even though it's stiff, I've never liked the especially on these knives. I don't mind. I don't mind them on normal pocket knives. But on these kind of knives, the utility knives where the blade is just ultra sharp, I don't like it. The belt clip feels okay. The lanyard's made of plastic. It just feels clunky. So and of course, again on this one here, I'm not a big fan of the ergonomics. It's fine, the quality is nice and all the rest of it. I'm just not a fan of the ergonomics of it. But that's just me. Surprisingly, the Fuller is the cheapest with the most functionality. It flicks out like the Fastback, has the extra wire stripper, as well as holds a couple extra blades. Has the lanyard holder and a belt clip. However, what I'm going to say is value for money and quality. This Craftright knife is probably the best out of value for money. For functionality, obviously the Milwaukee one probably comes out on top. It's got the most functionality. However, it does depend on your job, because hey, this extra blade on the Powerbuilt one might be what you need. It depends on what your requirements are. So keep an eye out for a up and coming video where I'm doing a very similar review or overview of different multi-tools. Now the different multi-tools are not going to be all the big name ones. They're going to be the cheaper multi-tools to see if they can keep up with my Leatherman. I will have 2 Leathermans by then, and even the Gerber one, to see the difference. To see if you need to have a hundred, this is like a $170, $180 Leatherman, whether the DeWalt one, considering this, is any good. Yeah, so what am I going to do with all these knives now? Obviously one's going to be at work. That can go to work. That can go in my toolbox over there. That can live upstairs. That can go back to Paula. That can get thrown out. Yeah, that was the DeWalt. I don't know. It's all leaving like 6 knives. Alright, get you.